Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are doing well. Today, I'm going to end up strategic planning step number 4. And I hope that you people are quite clear with the previous 3 steps. Number 1 was define marketing mission and vision, marketed oriented vision and mission. Number 2 was to have a right clear idea about objectives and goals. And the third was designing business portfolio. I think my class is quite clear about the first 3 steps. I'm going to move on to the final step of strategic planning, and that is marketing strategy and planning, marketing, and other functional departments. So, one thing that we have to keep in mind, the company's strategic plan establish what kind of businesses the company will operate and its objectives for each. If I talk about strategic plan means that the company needs to know about its strengths and its weaknesses. It should have a foresighted idea about the entire environment, the entire establish what kind of businesses the company will operate and its objectives for each, and which kind of objectives the company should be having for those particular businesses. Within each business unit, as we are clear about the business units are basically the individual businesses which are having the same mother mission, but they are having the different objectives as per the nature of the businesses, and they are more detailed planning. They take place. So we need to plan marketing and other functional strategies. When I talk about the functional strategies, I talk about the alignment of the different functional units of the organization, the different departments of the organization with the marketing. The major functional departments in each unit, we have got different departments in the company, and every functional department, unit means one business, and every unit has got their own functional departments. They have got their own marketing department, they've got their own finance department, they've got their own accounting department, they've got their own purchasing department, they have got their own operations, they have got their own information systems, they've got their own human resources, they've got, they all need to work together. I would like to tell you over here that marketing plays. These are the points you already know. They are just to be, I just want that things to be, quite. They should be revised and they should be, interrelated. These are the interrelated points with the marketing previous concepts. So I just want you people to understand them, revise them, and learn them. So in that regard, marketing plays a key role in the company's strategic planning in several ways. Number one, it provides a guiding philosophy, the marketing concept that suggests that company strategy should revolve around building profitable relationships with important consumer groups. The main point is, I would go word by word. When I talk about provide a guiding philosophy, I told you about the company has got its own philosophy. Philosophy comes from how they think. The concept is, what is their concept of dealing with the market? The concept that we are actually discussing in subject is the marketing concept. We all know that the marketing concept is the entire process to build customer relationship management. So marketing plays a very key role in strategic planning because first of all, it tells you about the philosophy of the entire concept that the company has to follow. It suggests that company strategy should revolve around building profitable relationships with important consumer groups. Company's strategy, whatever company is planning, it should revolve around building profitable relationships, that is marketing, with the important consumer groups. When I talk about important consumer groups, I talk about those people, those segments, or those markets which are suitable for your product, or you are suitable for making product for those consumers group. So in this regard, the strategic planning basically clears you by guiding you with this philosophy of building the relationship with the important consumer groups, who are basically the chosen ones, where to provide the value proposition, because you have identified their needs and wants according to your concept, according to your budgets, and according to your philosophy. The next thing is that marketing provides inputs to strategic planners by helping to identify attractive market opportunities and by assessing the firm's potential to take advantage of them. Marketing basically provides all those inputs. What are the inputs? They get the insight from the external market. They see what the trends are, they see what the supplier trends are, and then they come up to the top management and the people who are involved in the strategic planning thing, and then they try to give the attractive market opportunities. As we have discussed earlier, that marketers basically are the liaisons between the company and the customers. They are majority times in the field, getting the insight, getting the information of the attractive trends of the market, and then they come back with that particular information, and then they assess the firm's potential, and while amalgamating these both, they take the advantage of both of them. When I go further, it is within individual business units, marketing designs strategies for reaching the unit's objectives. When I talk about unit, I talk about an entire system into itself in the company, because company might have several different business units which are of different nature, exactly like the children to the parents. They all have got the different natures, and similarly the different business units also have the different natures. They have got the different departments of their own, depending upon the nature of their entire stuff. So in that regard, individual business units design their own marketing strategies that has to be aligned with the mission of the organization. Moving further, once the unit's objectives are set, marketing task is to help carry them out profitably. When we talk about marketing, we are not simply talking about charity. We are talking about getting the profits out from everything that what we really do. While talking over here, customer value is the key ingredient in the marketer's formula for success. We all know that. However, we have learned this earlier, that marketers do not do or cannot do, you know, marketers cannot do anything alone, because we all know teams work. It's not possible that only the marketing department can do everything. It's not possible. Marketers alone cannot produce superior value for the customers. When we talk about the organization, we talk about the entire system. And when we talk about the entire system, the entire business departments are involved in it. Marketers' role is to like customer relationship management. Marketers must also practice partner relationship management. When I talk about customer relationship management, I mean that partnering with the right consumer groups, like true friends or maybe the butterflies, right? You should be having a right approach towards the customers. You should have a proper grouping towards the customers, and then you can approach the right customer at the right time. And marketers must also practice partner relationship management. When we talk about the partner relationship management, partners are all those people who are there for you or with you to carry out your tasks. Any partners must work closely, or the marketers must work closely with the partners in other company departments to form an effective value chain that serves the customer. Everyone, every marketer any marketer cannot actually perform, alone. They need to have an entire team. They need to have an entire group of people who can work with them, who can actually assist them. So they must work closely with the partners in other company departments, with other departments. They need to amalgamate too well so that they can carry out the activity in a very effective and the efficient manner. So they must partner effectively with other companies in the marketing system to form a competitively superior value delivery network. And one thing that we need to care about is that not only we are into B2C relationships, we are into B2B relationships as well. So the companies who are involved with us in business to business relationship, we need to cater them in a very effective manner. We need to take care of their rights, and in order to get the benefit from them, we need to cater them in a very fine way so that the partnership goes on really well and the entire value delivery network works out well for the company. First, I would be discussing about partnering with the other company departments. For the marketing people, it is very important that they need to work with the entire company. They need to be aligned with the entire company because they are the people who are getting the information and the first hand information from the outside environment. They're bringing it inside. So they need to sit with the different departments. I believe that when they sit with the different departments, there may be many conflicts that can occur and they can actually bring problem to the life of the company. But we need to negotiate while designing an entire value proposition for the customer. So partnering with the other company department brings in the concept of value chain. Value something of a benefit you're giving to the customer. Chain is that the people, the system is basically the system is basically indulged in the entire value provision. It is simply not that the market are the only one who are providing you the value. So the series of departments that carry out value creating activities to design, to produce, to market, to deliver, to support a firm's product, because simply you cannot market anything if it is not designed and produced properly. So everyone, every entity in the department has to have the concept of marketing in their brains. If any of the department lacks this ability to understand the marketing concept or the philosophy of the marketing, probably they won't work up to the mark, and they would be just away from the terrain of achieving the right what you call it goal that we all are striving as a marketing oriented firm. So each company department can be thought of as a link in the company's value chain. That is like each department carries out value creating activities, as I discussed with you, the designing part, the production part, the market part, the delivering part. These all activities actually needs to have an insight that what the customer really wants. So the firm's success depends not only on how well department performs its work or how it works, but also on how well the various departments coordinate with each other. As I have discussed quite many times with you, that when we talk about marketing management, we talk about art. And the art is to, develop those ties with the other departments to get the right work done at the right time. In this regard, you need to agree with many people, and you need to make other people agreed on what you are willing to do, or you intend to do. So in this regard, value chain, the concept of the value chain is the different departments of the organization needs to work in amalgamation with each other to produce the right product and to fulfill the value proposition that you have promised with the customer. So the firm's success depends not only on how well each department perform, it works when the coordination is there. I would like to give you an example of Walmart here. Walmart goal is to create customer value and satisfaction by providing shoppers with the products they want at the lowest possible prices. We all know that Walmart basically is a store which works on everyday low prices model. They is ED, every day low price model means LP, EDLP. We call it EDLP, and they work on the lowest possible prices. Marketers at Walmart play a very vital role because what they do is that they learn that customers, what are the customer needs, and then they stock or they try to stock their store shelves with the desired product at the prices of the customer's choice, means to say low prices. But you know what, they can't do it alone. Here we understand one thing, that market customer. We need to understand Walmart itself cannot stand on the shoulders of the marketers. It actually has to stand when every department is buying the philosophy of marketing, when they are all are agreed on providing the customer the right thing at the right time of their choice, and then they think that they are team to provide the right thing at the right choice at the right time. So while talking about the Walmart, marketing department needs to take help from the company's others department, and Walmart ability to offer the right products at low prices depend upon, let's suppose, on the purchasing departments, um, and their skills in developing the needed supplier and buying from them at low price. It's their strategy, that how they really purchase, how they basically maintain their supply chain perspective, how they maintain their transport cost, or how they maintain their godoming kind of a thing, that where they do have a warehouse, how they are going to manage the inventory. These all things basically count in contributing to the success of the organization. And this entire thing comes in when company has got a value chain which actually cherish the philosophy of marketing. Only marketers, simply my emphasis on is on that the marketers alone cannot achieve what we really think is what we really think is beneficial for the organization. So it's the entire kind of a system that has to do. I would like to read over here, um, and I believe that you people have notes. I have the slides too, but please focus at the notes so that if I miss anything on the slides, you can understand it from the book. While going through the example of Walmart, the marketing department needs help from the company's other departments, and Walmart's ability to offer the right products at low prices depends on the purchasing department's skill in developing the needed supplier and buying from them at low cost. Walmart's information technology department must provide fast and accurate information about which products are selling in each store, and its operations people must provide effective, low cost merchandise handling. You see, everything is basically blended with each other to give the right service to the people at the right time. A company's value chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Success depends on how well each department performs its work of adding customer value, and on how well the activities of various departments are well coordinated with each other. At Walmart, if purchasing can't obtain the lowest price from suppliers, or if operations cannot distribute merchandise at the lowest cost, then marketing cannot deliver on its promise of the lowest price. So the backend has to be strong. Backend has to have the mantra and the manifesto of providing the customer with the low prices. Marketers are the communicators, are the people who are joining or creating a liaison between the two ends, and they are the face of the organization. So the body has to work very proficiently in order to communicate what company really desires to communicate to the customer. Ideally, then a company different functions should work in harmony to produce value. But in practice, somehow, I would like to discuss it over here. This is something really very bookish. I would like to tell you over here that while it's a society, it is like kind of the different department, different people of the different natures of work. People work together and they usually find conflict. While working with the other departments, the marketing departments, they might face kind of a conflict, kind of a conflict that they can have with each other. But in practice, these conflicts and misunderstandings need to be dealt. The marketing department sometimes takes the customer's point of view very, very seriously. But when marketing tries to develop customer satisfaction, because they are the ones who are the face. They have to go and talk to the customer about everything. So they're a bit conscious about giving them the satisfaction at the right time. But it is highly likely possible that the other departments might not agree with it because they've got their own nature of work. So it can cause other departments to have not a very good terms with the marketers. So what marketers should do in this regard? Marketing department actions can increase purchasing cost also in this regard. Somehow they need to sit, they need to discuss, they need to negotiate, and they need to devise the right policies which is somehow the other beneficial to everybody in the organization as well as the customer. It is somehow not always possible to get the right right solution to every problem, but yes, we can sit together, we can negotiate, because in the practical life, things doesn't come in such a harmony. We need to bring in the harmony, or we need to negotiate with the people on few things, whether they are the customers or whether the customers inside the organization. At the end of this topic, I hope that you people have understood the entire concept of it. Marketers must find ways to get all departments to think consumer and in a very positive manner, and to develop a smoothly functioning value chain. The entire idea basically is to maximize the customer experience across the organization and its various customer touch points. Wherever the customers are coming, wherever the customers are communicating, we need to get the customer get the best of the experience. What we can make for them, we can actually think as a team to provide them with the right value proposition that we have promised to them, and this is how we can actually perform at the best of our ability. So this was somehow the other regarding partnering with the departments inside the organization. But now I'm going to discuss somehow the other business to business perspective of the partnering, of the partnership of the company with the other entities. So here I would be talking about partnering with the others in the marketing system. In its quest to create customer value, the firms need to look beyond its value chain, because somehow or the other we cannot produce everything on our own as a company as well. We are dependent upon the other companies and the other groups who are providing services at their own end. So in that regard, basically, we need to look beyond our own value chain and into the value chains of its suppliers, distributors, and ultimately the customers. Over here, I would like to give you the definition of value delivery network. When we talk about a value chain, we talk about the departments within the organization. But when we talk about value delivery network, we talk about value, something of a benefit. Delivery means that we need to deliver, and the network, when we talk about the entire system. The entire system basically consists of the different actors. The network made up of the company itself, the suppliers who are supplying the raw material, or they are the suppliers to your company, getting the quota from you and selling it to the resellers, distributors, and ultimately customers who partner with each other to improve the performance of the entire system. Here we call it a value delivery network, and this entire network needs to be very, very well amalgamated, very, very well synced, and very, very much in harmony to each other. We will consider the example of McDonald's over here. Consider McDonald's. They have nearly 30,000 restaurants in, let's suppose, 100 countries. They serve about, according to the books, 52 million customers almost every day, daily, capturing over 40% of the burger market. I mean, it's a huge share. People do not swarm to McDonald's only because they love their chain. In fact, consumer typically rank McDonald's behind KFC in taste, and consumer flock to the McDonald's system not just to its food products throughout the world, but McDonald's finely tuned system delivers a high standard of what the company calls QSCV, which we called a combo of quality, service, cleanliness, and value. They really believe in it. If all of us, we have all visited the McDonald's branch, you can see the uniformity in their entire system, the harmony in their entire system. What quality, the cleanliness, the service, and the value they provide to their target market. Basically, it is quite of appreciation. So in that regard, McDonald's is effective only to the extent that it successfully partners with its franchises, with its suppliers, and others to jointly deliver exceptionally higher customer value. You know what? You cannot simply do it again. For example, if McDonald's basically are selling the fries, so they need to have a particular kind of potatoes which are being used in making those fries, and those has to create a differentiation among the other companies who are selling the fries. So in that regard, the quality of potatoes which are being given to them from the different suppliers has to be the same. But for this purpose, McDonald's need to sit with those suppliers and make this thing very clear to them that the quality and the kind of quality and the dimension of the qualities need to be clear to the suppliers. And if that is clear to the supplier, the entire team would be working in the harmony. And the service basically, the customers are basically they are made to stand in a queue, wait for their turn. They are they are made they've been given like very clean environment, very clean food, and by the end of the day, the customer gets the value for money. And you do not get it unless and until you partner with other value delivery systems. One example I would like to give you over here, that the ice cream that we eat from McDonald's, basically, since we are discussing the McDonald's example, we I would definitely going to give you the ice cream example of McDonald's. The material that is being used in the Sunday ice cream of McDonald's, usually the raw material comes from Nestle, and Nestle basically makes it specially for McDonald's, and it doesn't give it to anybody else. So in that regard, your suppliers or the manufacturers for your products, they need to be in harmony with you, and they would be in the harmony when you are clear about your manifesto, when you are clear about your mission, when you exactly know what you want to provide to your customer. You sit on the table with your value delivery network and you make things clear to them. So in this regard, we McDonald's as a McDonald provide what they really intend to provide to their people. Moving further, McDonald's is effective only to the extent that it successfully partners with its franchises. This is like already discussed. I hope that you have got this point. More companies today are partnering with the other members of the supply chain to improve the performance of value delivery network. One more example to clarify you is your favorite and my favorite, that is Toyota. Toyota knows the importance of building close relationship with its suppliers. In fact, if we will keep on blowing our own trumpet, nobody will listen to us. It's basically the people who are networking with us needs to talk about us, because the word of mouth takes you very far and takes you very high. So in that regard, Toyota knows the importance of building close relationship with its suppliers. In fact, it even includes the phrase "achieve supplier satisfaction." And if you go and see, as I told you, to go and see the mission statements of your different what you call it different multinationals, you would see that Toyota has added that they really need to have the satisfaction of their suppliers, because they believe that they cannot survive without their dealers who are actually giving them the right service at the right time, and their suppliers who are giving them the right product to make their own product and to further sell it. So I hope that the point is clear that to get the success, we need to partner with the other companies, and we need to partner with them and take them in a very strong way as a very key stakeholders. So achieving satisfying supplier relationships has been a cornerstone of Toyota's stunning success. We all know. Please go and study the case study of Toyota on the internet. You'll find what they really have offered to the people. Toyota partners with them, helps them to meet its very high expectation. Toyota learns about their businesses, conduct joint improvement activities. They help, they train the supplier employees, gives daily performance feedback. So they help their customers in every way possible, whether it's a corporate clients, whether it's their consumer. This is all about the functionality, the functions, the last part of the strategic planning, which we need to function with the entire system. The next topic after strategic planning is marketing strategy and the marketing mix. You people are not very much aware about the understanding of marketing strategy. As I always discuss, that the marketing is all about the process of building long-term relationship with the profitable customers. When I add the word strategy into it, the marketing logic by which the company unit hopes, the unit business unit hopes to create customer value and achieve profitable customer relationships, and the entire concept of value proposition and the concept of marketing management, having a concept of segmentation, targeting and positioning and differentiation that comes in while we think about providing the customer value, and then achieving the profitable relationship. We believe if we do something for the customer, we will definitely going to get the profitable relationship at the end of the day. Marketing strategy then talks about customer driven aspect. I have very clearly discussed this thing in chapter number 1 in the marketing process, and the step number 2 clearly talks about customer driven marketing strategy. But for you, I would like to go about the topics like market segmentation, and you people already have got the notes with you along with these slides, and you've got the handouts as well. You can actually go and read them very much in detail. I would like to go about it so that if any term is left, you people are clear about it. In chapter number 1, as I said, to succeed in today's competitive marketplace, companies need to be customer centered. That's one point. I've always discussed this thing in the class, that we need to be proactive, and we are proactive when we are customer centered. And customer centered means when you go reach the customer and you do the field work as a marketer. They must win customers from competitors, then keep and grow them by delivering greater value. But before it can satisfy consumers, a company must first understand their needs and wants. Thus, a sound marketing, thus a sound marketing, thus a sound marketing Thus, a sound marketing requires a careful customer analysis, right? Companies know that they cannot profitably serve all the consumers in given market, at least not all consumers in the same way. We all have spoken about breaking or dividing the market into the several parts. And most companies are in a position to serve some segments better than others. Thus, each company must divide up the total market, choose the best segments, and design strategies for profitably serving chosen segment. This process involves market segmentation, market targeting, differentiation, and positioning. The first is market segmentation. The market consists of many types of customers, products, and needs. The marketer has to determine which segments offer the best opportunities. This is not new to you people. People already know about it. Consumers can served in we talk about geographic perspective. We segment the market. We divide the market according to the geography. For example, Pakistan is one market, India is another market. Then we segment the market psychographically. Psychographic means according to the lifestyle of the people and then the behavioral factors. The process of dividing a market into distinct groups of buyers who have different need, characteristics, or behaviors, and who might require separate products or marketing program is called marketing segmentation. So I would like to go about it again. Dividing a market into a distinct group of buyers. Distinct means different group of buyers who have different needs. Everybody cannot have the same needs, but who have got the different needs, characteristics, and behaviors, and who might require separate products or marketing programs to get themselves satisfied. Then we have got every market has a segment, but not all ways of some segmenting a market are equally useful. For example, Disprene would gain little by distinguishing between low income and high income pain reliever users if both respond the same way to marketing efforts. A market segment consists of consumers who respond in a similar way to a given set of marketing efforts. In the car market, for example, consumers who want the biggest, most comfortable car, regardless of price, make up one market segment. Whereas, you know what, Toyota has one market segment, Alto is another market segment. It is not somehow the it's not somehow possible that Corolla has the same market segment as of Mercedes. It is not possible. We need to segment it because we need to have separate budgets for their marketing as well. Because we need to see entire thing accordingly. We need to see the customer perspective accordingly. Then it is the market target. After a company has defined market segments, it can enter one or many of these segments. Market targeting involves evaluating each market segment's attractiveness and selecting one or more segments to enter. A company should target segments in which it can profitably generate the greatest customer value and sustain it over time. A company should target segments in which they can profitably generate the greatest customer value, and sustain means to maintain it over time. A company with limited resources decide to serve only one or few special segments. We cannot cater many segments together, or market niches. When we call market niche, we need to understand it as a market segment. Such niches specialize in serving customer segments that major competitors overlook or ignore. Niches means that market segment, or niche means that market segment which is somehow the other very special, and somehow the other marketers are not focusing at it. For example, Ferrari. We all know this car. Ferrari sells only 1,500 of its very high performance cars in the United States each year, because they can produce 15 cars and they want to be different also. And their cars are very expensive and very much of the value. The buyers are also of the different needs. They are very adventurous. So, they make for the specific class and they actually try to sell it. The next example is each regale shirt offers the customer a unique choice of collars and cuffs, something which is of premium. Basically, you've got the different target market. If somebody has got the target market as of the highest premium market, there you need to have a product which can actually satisfy their needs. If you want to have a middle class customer, you need to understand their needs. So, market positioning and differentiation. What is positioning? Arranging for a product to occupy a clear distinctive. Arranging for a product, when I talk about Dettol has got a very clear and distinctive picture in the mind of the consumer that it is an antibacterial soap. Nothing else comes to our mind when we talk about the positioning perspective. We all are bacteria conscious people, and nowadays we are more. So, market positioning and differentiation means that a company needs to position the product in the mind of the customer, having its one feature in the mind. And you need to differentiate the product in a way on the basis of its core competency. I would like to go about the entire thing, which is, after a company has decided which market segments to enter, it must decide how it will differentiate its market offering for each targeted segment and what position it wants to occupy those segments. A product's position is the place the product occupies relative to its competitors, products in consumer mind. Marketers want to develop unique market positions for their products. If a product is perceived to be exactly like others on the market, consumers would have no reason to buy it. Positioning is arranging for a product to occupy a clear, distinctive place in the mind of the customer. Similarly, Walmart also has a promise which is like save money and live better. So they have got a clear, distinctive feature in the mind of the people that whatever they are promising, positioning actually clears the picture of the product in the mind of the customer. And in this regard, they have a clear picture in the mind of the customer that what the product is all about. And then they start thinking about the product in that particular way. So, similarly, the products like Nestle, the products like the companies like McDonald's, they all have got the distinctive picture in the mind of the customer. Moving forward, we have got the definition of differentiation. We need to differentiate among the products, because if we cannot differentiate, how can we compete with the other competitor products? So actually differentiating the marketing offering is to create superior customer value, something that the company is really good at. It can differentiate itself from the competitors on that particular behalf. So, the other point is that how to develop an integrated marketing mix while developing the marketing strategy. When talking about the marketing mix, it is a set of controllable marketing tools. Controllable means we can work upon it. This is somehow related to the internal company's perspective. Somehow that it is a set of controllable marketing tools which consist of product, price, place, promotion that the firm blends to produce the response it wants in the target market. If any one of these four P's is disturbed, the entire product or the entire offering would be disturbed. After deciding on all marketing strategy, the company then is ready to begin the planning of detailed marketing mix. One of the major concept in the modern marketing is of four P's. The marketing mix consists of everything that what possibly company can think of. I would like to discuss about the product over here. Product means the goods and the services, or the combination of both the company offers to the target market. Sometimes company doesn't offer the product which is tangible. Sometimes company doesn't offer only the service which is intangible. Nowadays we talk about the combination of both, because when we offer the product, we are offering the service, and when we offer the service, products are there to enhance them. So if I give you an example of it's an Indian brand example. It's Tata Indigo. You must be knowing about Tata. You must have heard about it. It consists of nuts and bolts, spark plugs, pistons, and headlights, and thousands of other parts. Tata Motor offers several models and dozens of optional features. The car comes fully serviced and with a comprehensive warranty that is as much a part of the product as the other tailpipes and the other things. The product and the service go hand in hand with each other. While talking about the price, it is the amount of money customers must pay to obtain the product, and it is one of the most sensitive aspect of the consumer thinking aspect. If I give you the example of Tata, because your book is following its example, you will find the example in the notes as well. Tata Motors calculates suggested retail prices that its dealer might charge for its product Indigo, but Tata dealers rarely charge the full sticker price. Instead, they negotiate the price, yani they keep the elastic price with each customer, offering discount and give them the credit terms. These actions adjust prices for the current competitive situation and bring them into the line with the buyer's perception of the car's value. Because if you cannot negotiate, or if you do not have elasticity to negotiate, it might create a tension in the mind of the consumer. So the pricing, Tata actually does the pricing in that particular way, that they keep elasticity between the sticker price and the price on actually they give to the customer. It is negotiable. When you talk about the place, it includes that the company activities that make the product available to the target customer. Tata partners with a large body of independently owned dealership that sells the company's many different models. Tata selects its dealers carefully and support them strongly at different parts where their customer is sitting. The dealers keep an inventory of Tata automobiles. They demonstrate them to potential buyers, then negotiate their prices, close the sales, and service the cars after the sale. And this makes the entire package out of Tata. And when we talk about the promotions, of course, we are talking about something that we are communicating, the activities that communicate the merits of the products, and it helps in persuading the target customers to buy it. Tata would spend a huge amount each year on advertising to tell consumers about the company and its many products. Dealership salespeople assist potential buyers and persuade them. And promotion basically has to tell not the deceptive marketing, it has to tell what actually product really has. If you go toward the deceptive side, and if you will give those aspect to the buyer that your product is really good, and if customer finds it not very good, then it's an issue for the company. So we need to amalgamate entire 4 P's so well that it blends with the 4 C's of marketing. 4 P's means that if you have to give the product, in 4 C's it has to be the customer solution, because customer do not buy the product, they buy solution. If you're talking about a price, it has to fulfill the cost that the customer has to bear. When we talk about the place, it has to be convenient to the customer, and when we talk about the promotion, it has to communicate the right value which is not deceptive to the customer. This was all about the lecture, the second lecture that I have given you today. I would like to give you the key takeaways of this lecture. In today's lecture, particularly in this lecture, you people have gone through the fourth step of the strategic planning, which tells you about the partnering with the department of the company and the department of the other companies as well. You have studied about the value chain, the importance of having the thickness of marketing department with the value chain, and you have learned about how to gel up with the other marketing department, sorry, marketing what do you call it, value delivery system, which includes suppliers, which include distributors, the other actors which are included in this market. Moving on, you people learned about, and you people have, I must say, not learned, but you have revised about marketing strategy and the marketing mix, where you people have gone through entirely and clearly about customer driven marketing strategy, covering all the concepts of marketing segmentation that you have learned about marketing segment, how why marketing segmentation is done, what is market segment, what is market target, what is market positioning and differentiation. And last but not the least, you people have revised and learned about marketing mix, where we have done and we have done the entire description of product, price, place, and promotion. I believe the lecture is clear to you people. I will be coming in interactive session with you, but before that, I would request you to listen to these lectures very carefully while having your notes in hand, so that you can connect with the concepts. And in the interactive sessions, we can have a good question and answer session. So till then, we meet again. You take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. ऑन कर दूं? हो जाएगा ना? सही तो हो जाएगा।